Jon Jones had an interesting tweet the other day, hashtag champion 2023. However, as of this live show, there has not been a fight booking for the former UFC light heavyweight champion. The man hasn't even fought since February of 8th of 2020. We're almost going on 3 years. Jones will fight in 2023. Jones will be a champion again in 2023. Jones will be the fighter of the year. That comes courtesy of Henry Cejudo. Fact or fiction? What am I speaking? Danny, go.
I mean, I don't know about fighter of the year because usually those guys fight a few times, right? I'd be surprised if we get 2 fights of Jon Jones. I'm hoping we get 1. I'd be happy with just 1 in 2023, but I'd be surprised if he fights twice. So we'll see, but I really do hope that he comes back in 2023 because it's been almost 3 years of inactivity now that we're approaching. He's turning 36 this year. I'm not here screaming that, he's hit the expiration date, but I do feel like time is running out as far as if he wants to do something at an elite level, if he still wants to achieve greatness, push his legacy even further, because he is already great, and become a 2-division champion, light heavyweight and heavyweight, and maybe even defend the belt. I don't know. If he wants all that, which is still very possible and is still in the realms of in his realm, he needs to fight. He needs to fight in 2023. If you're going to come back when you're 37, 4 years of inactivity, I mean, that already starts sounding not so great. So I do feel like this is the year that Jon Jones needs to make a return to the octagon. And I really hope that he is. I'll plug in some of the work here that we do on the site. But yesterday, we published an article that I did on 23 fights that I want to see for 2023, and Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou is number 1. I mean, that fight checks all the boxes. If you don't get excited for that fight, you're not a fight fan. I mean, it's everything that you could dream of. Heavyweight title on the line. The GOAT coming up a weight class, facing adversity and activity against literally the biggest, scariest heavyweight that's ever existed. I mean, it's just a perfect story. So for the sake of the sport, for the sake of my fandom and everybody else's, please, Jon Jones, come back in 2023. And UFC, solve whatever issues you need to solve with Francis Ngannou. Give the man a contract. Give whatever he needs. He is the baddest man on the planet. He needs to be on the baddest organization on the planet. So, make that happen somehow.
In the stadium, Allegiant Stadium, International Fight Week. That's when it needs to happen. Although I want Jones to fight even sooner. But that fight alone, if he wins that's one hell of a comeback, and you're on your way to fighter of the year. Might need one more other fight because there's some gangsters that are doing good stuff, across different divisions. But how about you, Nolan? Fact or fiction?
Well, I think it's going to be a fact that he fights next year. I do feel very confident in that. Again, like I've said on past episodes, it sounds like he is not necessarily the reason for the delay, which I think is a good sign. It's something that we couldn't have said in recent years. So that's a thumbs up there. In terms of being champion, I think sometimes with him, like obviously all eyes are on Jon Jones, no matter who he fights. But let's think about who he's facing here in the circumstances, right? So fighting Francis Ngannou is the best heavyweight on the planet, one of the scariest MMA fighters of all time, who is arguably in his prime. I think people are kind of overlooking that tall test that's in front of him. Like, oh, Jon's going to come back. He's already achieved greatness. He was the light heavyweight champion, and now he's going to go out there and get this belt too. So don't overlook Francis Ngannou. I would probably lean with Francis at this point, just because we haven't seen Jon fights for so long. We don't know what to expect. So I'm gonna stop there. I'm not really sure we can even have really the discussion about the fighter of the year, because I think that's just too many steps down the line. I'm gonna call fiction on that one.
All right. Mike Bond, will close with you. Jones will fight in 2023. Jones will be champion again in 2023. Jones will be fighter of the year. Fact or fiction?
I guess I'm going to say fact, fiction, I guess, on the last one. As kind of Nolan said there. It's just you do have to put in a little more of a body of work than like one fight or 2 fights to be the fighter of the year. But, man, it's just so tough. My gut, do I want Jon Jones? Do I want to see him fight? Of course. But someone, I can't remember who exactly it was on Twitter, referencing that champion 2023 tweet. There was also a champion 2022 tweet and a champion 2021 tweet that he put out, and we still haven't seen him fight. So how am I supposed to believe that champion 2023 is any more realistic than those things? It does seem like it is coming. It is looming. Who it's going to be, what the circumstances are going to be around his comeback. That remains to be seen, I guess, what the UFC can figure out. But I do think we'll fight this year. Whether he wins that or not, I mean, who's supposed to guess, man? Like, we don't really have a ton of history. George St. Pierre, I guess, took like 4 years off, came back, won the belt against Michael Bisping, but it's a long time off for Jon Jones. He's been through a lot, emotionally, physically. How's he going to carry all that weight? There's just so many unknown factors that go into this return for him. And he's fighting an absolute monster in Francis Ngannou, who is coming off a serious knee injury, a year plus long layoff in his own right. So like, what condition is he going to be in terms of being able to implement his entire game? So just so many questions around this entire situation. You can think whatever you want about Jon Jones as the person. He is obviously one of the greatest fighters of all time that we've had. And, I think it's better for the sport when he is competing, and I think better for his own, mental health when he is competing as well. But I just hope that this deal can get done and we can kind of stop talking about this part of it and start talking about what we're actually seeing in the octagon.
Yeah, I'm going to go with fact. Fiction. I just don't see him getting past Ngannou. I feel like Ciryl Gane is kind of like a Jones type, but at the heavyweight. And Ciryl came up a little bit short against Ngannou. And Ngannou was injured going into that fight. But, hey, it's two different men. I get it. Two different styles. But there's some similarities sometimes I see between Gane and Jones. And feel like I've gotten a little bit of a blueprint there. But Ngannou is coming back from serious injury and Jones coming back from serious layoff. But yeah, we're all seriously excited about it.